Hi guys, this is Bobby from Ragged Poet, and I'm doing a response to Diane from the Mystical Havens tarot tag about your spiritual path and what led you to tarot. I've just watched Diane's original video and Simon's of Two Spirit Tarot response, and they inspired me to do this. So it's kind of a lovely sunny autumn morning here down at the bottom of the world. So I might just kind of walk around with my phone while I'm talking. These are shadows on the kitchen floor. I love shadows. And just talk about this tag. I haven't done an outdoor video for a while. I did quite a lot when we did Lenormarch last year, so I just might do go outside a bit too. I've got this new. I just set up an altar in my kitchen. If I can turn these lights on, they might not show up on the video. There, isn't that pretty? I like it, and I like having food on kitchen altars, and I love squash. And so I've got some plants and my butternut squash, and some cards I drew yesterday. And this is Moon's collar, my goat that I lost recently. I keep that because it's special. That's something I've had a very, very long time. Came to New Zealand on a boat, as did my Venetian mask there, who's been broken and mended a few times. So that's my little newish kitchen altar. It's quite bright out here, but here's the ghost. This is Spike. He's a new baby. Hi, Spike. And there's Gypsy. And as you can see, goat droppings everywhere. This is what happens when you live with goats. They want to be with you all the time, and that means you get their droppings right outside your door. But never mind. Look at this little baby. Spike's only about 6 months old. He's so cute, though. Let's say hello, Gypsy. Here's my boy. My boy. So we're going to have a look at the pond, but I'm meant to be talking about my spiritual path and how it led me to tarot. So basically, from when I could first think, I actually didn't think I belonged on this planet. Thought I was an alien or something, although I didn't know what an alien was because I was very, very young. Before I could read or anything, I always felt like I was a visitor in a strange land. I think most people all my life have thought me kind of weird, not in a horrible way. My family and that always thought I was a bit strange and weird. Even my children, some of them think I am. But in a kind of affectionate way, I hope, and maybe I am. I do have a different way of thinking to many people I've met, except on this community that I've come into mainly through the online world, because I haven't met many real people like me in real life. Well, not real. It is real life, but you know what I mean, in the flesh kind of thing. I'm going to sit here by the pond a bit, otherwise I'm going to get distracted, and the pond is so beautiful. What better place could you have for a little bit of spiritual talk? So, yeah, so this path, it had no set direction. It started when I was a child, and it just flowed, and I was always drawn to the darker side of life, or, well, some people refer to it as the darker side of life. I consider it more the hidden side of life. So I was always into, you know, kind of dressing kind of dark, and I wasn't a goth or anything, but I just dressed witchy. Always had my own style. I've never followed any crazes or anything, apart from supporting the Bay City Rollers when I was about 16 and wearing tartan. That was my one concession. So yeah, as I said, I was always attracted to the darker side of things. I read very, very early, and I read a lot of books of that nature and like old magazines. I think there was one called, I forgot what Prediction. I think it was called Prediction magazine. I think my mum had a load of them, or I found some somewhere, and I was reading those, and they had things about tarot in. I can't remember exactly when I first saw a tarot deck. I was probably about 15 or 16, and I just I don't remember where I was. I remember seeing this deck, and I think it was either the Aquarian or the Morgan Greer. Oh, look at the leaves blowing off the willows. If you can see them. Anyway, I was really attracted to the imagery and stuff, and because I've always been attracted to art too, and I've been a photographer since I could hold a camera. So art's always been really important to me. And I'm somehow, I had a deck, but I don't think it was complete, of cards I used to carry around, but I didn't really read them or anything. But I always wanted a tarot deck. And then, I mean, when we weren't brought up in a religious background, my sort of step-grandmother was really religious and Roman Catholic, so we had rosaries and things. And I think we went to Sunday school. I remember having to learn and read the 23rd Psalm, you know, the Lord is my shepherd. But it didn't actually mean much to me then. Then when I was in my early 20s, I did get a tarot deck. My mum bought me a tarot of the cat people, which I've spoken about before, and I started to read the tarot just for me and just for a few friends, and started getting into it. And then I got a couple more decks. I think I got one of the first ones I got after the Morgan Greer or an Aquarian, the cat people, was the Arthurian tarot. Well, there's two, both of those, because I was always really into like Camelot and King Arthur, and I loved reading The Once and Future King by T.H. White, which I still think is one of the best King Arthur books ever written. So I came from this kind of mystical background, but it was not like from nurture with me. It was more nature. I was always interested in the moon and astrology. I've always really been into star signs, but so was my mum, or she still is. And then my daughter Tabby is an astrologer, so it's like gone into our blood, and I just can't get away from it. When you're into it, you live it. So where did I get up to? Yeah, so I had tarot decks and I was looking at those, but then I went through I had a really tough time as a teenager and through my 20s. As I've talked about before, I had huge depression issues. I had glandular fever when I was very young. I was severely depressed for a long time. I was in and out of hospitals, and I was basically looking for something to save me. And I had this friend who started taking me, this is before I met my husband and had children, and she took me to this church, and it was the first night we went there. They showed a video about all things evil, and among all the evil things were tarot decks and all these books about astrology and stuff like that. And I immediately felt this huge guilt, and I went home and got rid of all of them almost, and took them to the second-hand bookshop, and I think I only kept 3 or 4 decks, and I really regret doing that now. I'm glad I kept my special early decks, but I do regret getting rid of all my books and things like that. I think I kept one book, which was what is his name now? Anyway, I'm always talking about it. It's called the Tarot. My book's stuffed with cuttings and Alfred somebody. Anyway, and then I didn't carry on going to that church, but after I got married and had children, I did end up going to a high Anglican church in England, and I actually got a lot from going to that church. Although I wasn't a fundamentalist and I didn't believe everything, I did get this, somehow I connected with something, and I sometimes talk to the priest about it and how I felt like maybe I was in the wrong place, but they never seemed to think so. I had quite good understanding priests, and I just feel that if you're on a path and it's a good path and you can kind of take in these things, there's a level above man-made religion which is more spiritual and greater than man-made religion. I'm not saying I'm above people, or anyone who believes that I do is above people who are into, you know, I think Christianity, again, I don't see it as a religion, but as a way of life, which you don't have to follow all the dogma to be.
Man-made religion is something that gives a lot of people a lot of comfort and a purpose and a way of being, but it's not for me. I just think there's this other level that some of us believe in that surpasses man-made religion. And when you're on that level, you can, I mean, there's some things I cannot accept in some man-made religions, but a lot of things I can. I mean, I basically believe that all religions are heading for the same way, more or less, I think. So, yeah, when I talk about religion, it's not really spirituality for me. Spirituality is looking after the inside, but also there's another physical aspect to it. Like, I believe in looking after nature and the planet. I've been a vegetarian and a vegan just about all my life. Oh, I have been a vegetarian all my life and a vegan for well over half my life, because I don't believe in killing things for my own sake to eat, when there's lots of other amazing stuff to eat. I don't think it's great for the planet, but those are just other beliefs. But I do actually really live, like, veganism is a way of life, it's not a diet. And looking after the planet, and most people I know who are kind of spiritual, well, we have our own beliefs about what we eat, and that's all good. I don't preach any of that, but we do what we do, and we look after the planet, we look after things, and we appreciate what we've given on this earth. I also don't believe any country belongs to any people. I believe that where we live and nurture a land, then that land is ours on loan for as long as we're there, and we continue to take care of it. But this is going off the planet, like off the topic of the tarot thing. But yeah, so that's how I got into the tarot. After I got out of that church, I started to read tarot a lot. I read it long before I got married, and poor old boat needs to go to Avalon. What Avalon's over there? What island? I started to read tarot then, and got much more into it. Then I had my children, and I kind of did it a bit through that. But obviously, when you have children, all your creativity, everything's taken up by this huge motherhood, which is another huge spiritual experience. But then when I moved to New Zealand, I came back into the tarot quite big time. That was 12 years ago, just over. But I only had a couple of my decks with me, and the others didn't come for like 5 years, and then came on the boat. But I didn't really collect decks then. I think the first deck I bought after buying all those, my original decks from many, many years ago, was the Deviant Moon. And that was about 2008, I think, or 9. There's Bonnie climbing a tree, and I still adore that deck. So, and that really connects to me in an amazing way. Let's see if we get the sun up there behind the tree. So that's how I came to tarot, really. I've had experiences like Diane and Simon spoke about. Diane spoke about knowing her papa or grandpapa had died, and I had the same experience with this great, well, she wasn't really, we were kind of raised by kind of step-in-laws. It was a strange situation, but they were lovely people. And my mother had to work, and she was a single parent. So we didn't see a lot of her when we were children, because we were always in bed and stuff. But I remember this lady, older lady, little nanny we used to call her, she was in her 90s, and we got sent away to my mum's stepmother and father in Birmingham, because nanny was dying and people did it at home like then. And I remember coming down the stairs, like Diane was coming down the stairs. I remember coming down the stairs this morning with my sister and saying, "Oh, nanny's died." and then about a few hours later, there was a phone call to say little Nanny had died. So I know these things. I feel things before they happen. I mean, a lot of us do that anyway. So when I read tarot, all of that comes into it. I think we can all do that if we want to. But I do feel, I sense things very strongly, and I'm also an empath, which can be incredibly painful, and I can sense people's mood and energy, and I wish I couldn't sometimes, because when you do that, you need to be really, really good at boundaries, and I'm not. So I do pick up everything. Following everything around the garden here. So I think I've just about said most of what I wanted to say. There's Oscar. Oscar! This is for Remco. Oscar! Hey, Oscar! Hey, baby. Say hello to Remco. There you go. That's for you, Remco. So I just want to end this video by showing you this amazing gift I received today, which is the Pagan Otherworlds Tarot, which was gifted me by my friend Artsy from the UK. And I don't know if she didn't get on with it or what, but she sent me her copy, and I absolutely adore it. I'd thought about it, but I don't have the money to spend on this at the moment, so I put myself off it, and I'm very good at that now, at saying no, not for me. But oh my goodness, I am so happy to get this deck. I can't thank Artsy enough. It's the most wintry deck, so gorgeous, and it's got this beautiful, I think my best ever Page of Pentacles I've ever seen. And I love the deck because we were talking about this spirituality and tarot, and the images in the deck really resonate with me. They really bring out this spiritual kind of pagan, Celtic-y. I mean, my mother is a Highlander. Her family, Mackenzies. I was a Mackenzie, so I've got that side in my blood, that Celtic, and also this Highlanders have sight, and I've got all this within me, but I've also got lots of other blood from my father's side, so there is a lot of different spiritualities inside this little old bob, I think. But as I said, this deck just is so earthy and yet so spiritual. And also, I think, it's not meant to be a deck review, I'm just showing you it because it was a beautiful friend I met in the online community. And I love the people I've met. They just bring me so much joy, and I can't wait to meet some of you in person, and I will, because I do travel between the hemispheres, and I want to get to America because I've got some special people I've got to meet there. But yeah, I really, really want to meet you people, because there's the people around. There's so many people. Diane from Go Within Healing, another Diane. Oh, just want to go and see her and her partner and her goats, and in the winter, because just so much out there, so much I want to be part of, because I love being in the woods and everything in winter, when everything's so still and the snowlight, and I feel my most spiritual. I almost feel like my being is dissolving into the landscape, and this deck is just so like that, it's just like, it's beautiful. It's just so me, and I'm glad it found its way to me. So thank you again, Artsy. And she also sent me this gorgeous lunar card, which I fell in love with, from the Hokusai, that's how you say it, the guy who did the famous wave painting, tarot. But I think this one was done by Il Meneghello. So yeah, anyway, on that beautiful note of friendship and love, and the most gorgeous tarot deck and card, I will say thank you, Diane, and thank you, Simon, and I'll link the videos below for sharing your experiences. Oh, and by the way, my mum had that Doris Stoke book, Simon, and I think I did read it. So, yeah, thank you very much, and thanks for listening, and bye-bye. Love you, bye.